This weekend, one of the 8 worthy Australians will be recognised with the Australian of the Year. We've been going through them, Bev. One by one are being inspired along the way, it has to be said. Among them is businessman and philanthropist Glenn Keys from the ACT. He's taken an active role in working to help those with disabilities. Through sport and home ownership, he sought to provide a greater sense of independence. And Glenn Keys joins us now from Canberra. Glenn, thanks so much for your time. I wonder if you could, before we talk about broader affairs, tell us why it's so important to you that we help people with disabilities have better lives.
Well, I think we live in a fantastic country. We're very privileged to live here. I think we all feel that. I think we see what's going on around the world and we realise what a great country Australia is. And people with disability often do not have the voice to be able to be heard, to talk about how they could be better integrated within our community, the service they could bring, the genuine joy they can deliver us and the betterment of where we live today. And I think, you know, as a father of a child with a disability, I can see how much they could bring to us and how better off we would be if we really truly integrated people with disabilities into every aspect of our lives.
Is that why you've moved into this sphere, I guess, and dedicated your life to it in so many ways, because of that personal attachment?
Look, that really started it, but when you start to engage with the community and you see the parents, the carers, the people with disabilities at every level, be they involved in sport or housing, when you see them involved in their lives and growing socially, you really have to become involved and do something to help, because you know, my work and my involvement with the disability sector has genuinely made me a better person and enriched my life enormously.
You had a successful career in the Defence Force and then went into healthcare. Tell us about that jump and how you were able to do that to not only sort of step into another area of service, but also, you know, go really big there and make some global achievements.
Look, it wasn't something we planned. A very good friend of mine who I went through school with, Dr. Andrew Walker, and I started Aspen about 12 years ago, and it was just something where we saw a fantastic opportunity to help initially overseas in the UK with the NHS, and then closer to home in Australia with work that the Australian government was doing in the Solomon Islands. And it's been a fantastic journey. And as you say, you know, it's an opportunity to help people in so many areas, be they in Indigenous communities or in Australian public health areas or overseas, and it's a job that all of us love doing, and I think that joy of helping and growing and seeing that people are better off is something that inspires not only me but everybody involved in the company.
When you were when you first became involved in Aspen Medical, that global healthcare company and provider, was it one of your main aims to make a difference socially, or has that evolved over time in your life?
No, look, we've always had corporate social responsibility at the heart of everything Aspen does. We give back at a range of levels. We have our own foundation. We put a percentage of all of our profits into that foundation, and that targets health issues in Australia. We've been doing that for quite a number of years now. Then we have corporate programs, our staff support at all our sites, and we match giving at each of those sites right down to local levels. And I think it's something that is now just part of the DNA of the company. And you know, I'm a firm believer business is part of the community, and businesses should engage in the community and engage in that corporate social responsibility, regardless of whether they're a one-person company or a multinational. There is something we can all do. We exist within this environment, and I think it's beholden on us to help and engage and help grow the community.
And so what now for you, Glenn? I know you've taken a step back from those day-to-day operations. You're a board member of the NDIS, and you've got some other things that you're looking forward to achieving in the next couple of years.
That's right. Look, I've taken the opportunity for this year, 2015, to step away from the day-to-day running of Aspen onto the board of Aspen I was already in, but now a sort of a broader supervisory strategic level, if you like. And it's really allowing me to focus on the housing project, Project Independence, which is really exciting. It's an opportunity for people with an intellectual disability to purchase their own home out of their pension, and it's one of the only programs like it in Australia, which is just fantastic that we're kicking it off, and we'll have our first 20 residents moving in towards the end of this year. which is just going to be fantastic. We've got people queuing up to do that, and we're hoping then to roll it out elsewhere in Australia. We've got interest from a number of the other states, and I think that's going to be so exciting that rather than putting their money into rent, they'll be able to invest, own and grow and then move on to other housing options. It's every great Australian dream to own your own home, and we're now going to give that opportunity. I'll also be heavily involved in the NDIS, which is just such an exciting program for Australia to do. You know, there but by the grace of God go so many of us, and any of us could be there tomorrow. And this is a program that when I travel around the world, people ask us how it's going, tell us about exciting elements that are coming out, and we are learning, and the commitment from the parties on both sides to it is just really, really encouraging, and I'm looking forward to throwing myself into both of those activities this year.
Well, not before you get together with the rest of the nominees for Australian of the Year. You sized up the other nominees. It's a pretty impressive list that you're among.
To be honest, I have to pinch myself when I look at who else is there. We had an event at the National Museum before Christmas, and we got to meet most of the other nominees, and they're just fantastic people. I'd want to have them over to dinner.
Yeah.
I think Australia is lucky. If you look around, there's not one nominee involved in the same area. We're all pursuing, you know, things to be better in Australia, all in different areas, and it makes you very proud and humble when you see the quality of people in those areas. It's a brilliant experience.
Yeah, it's going to be terrific to see that ceremony, and I'm sure that all of ACT, if not Australia, is proud of your achievements too. Glenn, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.